Just took a bit longer to find my way home. Chapter 7. Consider a gift. As much as Tom and Maddie wanted to spend the day getting to know Sonic more and get him more comfortable with staying with them, they still had work, which was a fact both of them realized when they woke up. They had a child in their care now, a child who couldn't leave the house and probably had never been inside a house before. The chaos that single sentence brought the two caused both humans to shiver just thinking about it. So Maddie called in sick and decided to take off today. Tom left for work early, like usual, and out of habit. Maddie was up, dressed, and making breakfast by 8 o'clock. She figured Sonic would be sleeping in. She had been right. About an hour later, as she was settled on the couch in the living room, reading one of her romance novels, Sonic came out of the guest room. He froze, seeing Maddie glance his way and offer him a smile.
Good morning, Sonic.
Good morning, Maddie.
How did you sleep?
She asked, patting the spot on the couch next to her. Sonic happily obliged and sat down next to her, stifling a yawn.
Oh, amazing. Heads are amazing.
She dog-eared the page she was on and placed her book down on the coffee table.
Are you hungry?
He nodded. She got up and he followed her to the kitchen.
So, what do you want? I can make you something if you want.
What do you have?
Some cereal.
Maddie looked through the pantry. She smiled as she grabbed the cereal box. The cereal was Tom's. She usually ate Raisin Bran or something that would make Tom roll his eyes and say,
"You have no taste."
But she figured that Sonic wouldn't like that.
Want to try some?
She asked, holding up a box of Lucky Charms.
What is it?
Sonic asked, looking at the box with curiosity.
It's cereal with marshmallows.
Marshmallows? What's that?
Maddie grabbed a bowl. She poured in some and then added milk before handing the hedgehog his breakfast.
Trust me, you'll love it.
He looked down at the bowl in front of him before eagerly taking a bite. His eyes widened and a smile split across his face.
Sugar for breakfast is awesome.
Was all he said before he ate another spoonful. Maddie held in a laugh and put up the cereal box and milk. She let out a sigh. Now that Sonic was up, she had to think. How did he keep a hyperactive hedgehog entertained without him being seen by other people? She couldn't keep him cooped up inside the house. There was only so much they could do in the house besides watching TV. Maddie supposed she could go into the basement and see if there were any board games lying around.
Hey, where's Tom? Is he still asleep?
Sonic asked, breaking Maddie out of her thoughts.
He's at work.
Aren't you going to work today? Are we doing a switch like yesterday?
No, I called off work today.
Sonic's ears drooped just a bit at those words.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No need to apologize. Besides, I'm sure we can have fun together.
Sonic nodded. He didn't look entirely convinced, but at least she had managed to stop that train of thought. She went back to thinking about what she could do with him today. Then it hit her. She didn't want to bring him out in public, but the kid absolutely needed new shoes. They looked like they were falling apart. He needed new socks too. Actually, he needed a few things. Well, she did enjoy shopping. She figured today could be fun. Besides, he might enjoy a new pair of shoes.
Sonic, do you want to help me shop today?
Yeah. One problem though.
He said before motioning to himself.
We can work something out. Finish your breakfast.
She said. She ruffled the fur on his head as she walked past him. She went to her room and grabbed her shoes, but as she finished trying her shoes, now came how she would disguise Sonic. She had considered simply shoving one of her or Tom's large hoodies on him and simply pretend that he was a toddler. Except, explaining his face would be hard. It's not like she could cover that up. When winter came around, it would definitely be easier to disguise him with a scarf wrapped around his face. She looked inside her closet and found a large tote bag. He might fit in there if he curled up real tight. She hoped he wouldn't be comfortable. Maybe this wasn't a good idea. She quickly banished those thoughts out of her mind. She grabbed both a tote bag and one of Tom's hoodies. just in case. She walked back out and saw Sonic kicking his feet as he sat on one of the island stools.
Alright, we have two options. I can hide you in this tote bag. It should be big enough for you to fit in, hopefully. Or, if you don't want to do that, you can always wear this. Whatever you want.
Sonic looked between the tote bag and the hoodie.
I'll wear the hoodie.
Maddie nodded and handed it to him. She went to put the bag back. She grabbed her purse and car keys and walked back out to meet Sonic. He had the hoodie on. It was very big on him. Maddie couldn't help but laugh. She so desperately wanted to snap a photo. The hoodie brushed the floor just a bit and the sleeves fully engulfed his arms. Sonic threw up the hood.
So, what do you think?
He asked with a smile, twirling around a bit and striking a few poses.
You look fabulous. Just be careful so you don't trip.
Maddie bit her lip. She probably should have given him one of hers instead, but he was already eagerly heading for the door. Maddie followed him. Thankfully, they had missed the worst of the morning traffic, and it wasn't long before Maddie pulled into the store parking lot. One thing she loved about living in a bigger city was the fact that there were so many more shopping options, such as Target.
Alright, remember to keep your head down. You ready?
But as she looked at the hedgehog in the seat next to her, she couldn't help but pause. He looked terrified by the sheer number of people in the parking lot.
And head home if you don't want to be here.
No, it's fine. I don't want to ruin your shopping trip.
Maddie wanted to argue that she was shopping for him, but even saying that would only cause him to keep on insisting on going home. She sighed.
Alright, but if it becomes too much for you, just let me know and we'll go home.
Sonic nodded wordlessly and got out of the car. Maddie offered him her hand. He stared at it for a split second before hesitantly grabbing onto it. And off they went. Sonic kept his head down the majority of the time. Maddie was just glad that everybody didn't seem to find anything off about the situation. To anyone, it just looked like a mother walking into the department store with her son in a comically large hoodie. As soon as they entered the store, Sonic peeked up and noticed the security cameras. He quickly hid behind Maddie and kept his head down. She grabbed a red cart. So far, so good.
Want to hang on to the sides?
Sonic's fear faded just a bit for him to light up and nod. He hopped on and Maddie pushed off. She began getting him the basics, a toothbrush and some socks she figured would fit his feet. She also decided to get some other things they need while they were here, and of course because it was Target, she ended up getting things they really didn't need. She didn't know how the brownie Brutal ended up in the cart, but just like she suspected, Sonic was enjoying himself. He took everything in with all-filled eyes, gasps of surprise. She couldn't help but laugh, seeing the way Sonic's jaw dropped on the floor as they entered the food section. It was funny, yet made her heart twist painfully at the same time. Every few aisles or so, he would ask her to push the cart just a bit faster, and she would do so, almost running as she did. But it was worth it to hear him laugh. Finally, they ended up in the shoe section. She walked around slowly, allowing him to look at all of his options.
Whoa.
She heard him mutter under his breath. She followed his line of sight and her eyes fell upon a pair of athletic shoes. They were red slip-ons. They had a white stripe going along the sides and up the shoe. They looked very sleek and nice.
Do you like them?
Huh? Oh, yeah, they're cool.
Want to try on a pair?
I'm okay. You don't have to get me anything. Besides, my current pair look just fine.
He said, showing off his run-down shoes.
They look small on you.
Okay, sure, they may pinch me a bit, but I'm fine.
I guess. They probably wouldn't look good on you anyway.
Hey, I see what you're doing.
Is it working?
Yeah.
Maddie couldn't help the burst of laughter that left her.
Alright, come here and sit.
She said, patting the little bench on the end of the shoe aisle. She grabbed the metal measuring tool underneath the bench and waited patiently as Sonic took his shoes off.
That looks like a torture device.
Sonic said as he eyed the tool Maddie held. Maddie jokingly rolled her eyes.
We use it to see what your shoe size is.
She held it up and he placed his foot against it. She pushed the metal tab down and stopped just as it touched his foot. Seeing his foot size and mentally taking a note of it, she put the tool down and grabbed the shoe box. She opened it. Sonic lit up seeing the shoes. Whatever reservations he had earlier were gone as the red sneakers were presented in front of him. He eagerly slipped them on and hopped off the bench. Maddie couldn't help it when she took out her phone and began to record.
Walk up and down the aisle for me.
Sonic did as she said.
How do they feel?
Amazing.
Bounce around a bit.
He jumped around a bit, rolling back and forth on his heels. And he did so enthusiastically that Maddie couldn't help but smile. She stopped recording and placed her phone back in her pocket.
You like them?
I love them.
Alright, then put them back in the box and then put them in the cart.
Sonic froze.
Are you sure?
Positive. Consider it a gift.
A gift?
She nodded. He looked down at the shoebox in his hands thoughtfully.
Nobody's ever given me a gift before.
He muttered to himself. Maddie held back a frown, but she wasn't going to let that ruin their day. Sonic eagerly took the shoes off and put them back in the box and into the awaiting red cart. He put on his own pair and hopped back onto the side of the cart. Maddie sent the video to Tom before grabbing onto the handle.
Anything else you want to see before we check out?
Nope, let's go.
She felt relieved and couldn't breathe just a bit easier as they left. While it probably wasn't the best idea to bring him out, it sure had been nice. Back to the car and loaded their shopping haul into the back. As Sonic went to put the shopping cart up, she grabbed the shoebox and a pair of socks and started the car. Sonic got into the car as well. He pulled down his hood. Maddie handed him his new shoes and a new pair of socks. Sonic smiled and looked at Maddie with pure gratitude in his eyes.
Thank you, Maddie.
Of course.
Sonic quickly put his old socks and shoes in the box and put on his new socks and shoes.
I'm liking the new look.
He said as he propped his feet up onto the dashboard. Maddie smiled.
Alright, seatbelt on. Let's head home so we can put up our haul.
Maddie's phone dinged. She looked and saw that Tom had texted back. She smiled as she read it.
Love the new shoes. Glad you both are having fun today. Tell him I said hi.
Tom says hi.
Maddie said as she put her seatbelt on as well.
Hi, Tom.
Maddie laughed and texted her husband back.
He says hi.